Good afternoon and welcome to beautiful Pickett, Wisconsin on the 14th day of July. It's a beautiful day, quite windy, but it's a beautiful day for running engines. And today's engine run features an engine I've never run before on my channel, nor has it ever been run before by me. And this is an engine, I believe, that came in a Facebook Marketplace deal. It's a Magnum 65 GPSE. And it didn't come with an exhaust. I have the exhaust. I bought an exhaust for it, but the exhaust is actually on the other engine that I'm going to be running after this one. So right now, this one is sporting the exhaust from an OS 91 FX engine. So what I'm going to do today is, this is a used engine as far as I can tell. It's an ABN or ABC, it might be ABC construction. So I'm going to do a quick run with this APC 13.7 prop. Typically with 60 size engines, I usually always run 12.6 two-blade props. Today I'm going to start off with a 13.7 two-bladed APC, and then I'm going to progress to a couple of three-bladed props. And now this one is an evolution prop, and the best I can determine is that this is a 12.4. I looked it up and found 12.4 props about this size. It doesn't have any kind of designation on it. This one is a Grappener 12.8. So they seem sort of appropriate for this size engine, so we're just going to run them and see what happens, because I've got this bug to run three-bladed props now, because now I didn't intentionally purchase three-bladed props. They just happen to come with some of the Facebook Marketplace deals I've made, and it was really fun running three-bladed prop on my 91 FX the other day, so I figured I'll just keep doing it. So what the parameters are for this run today is, like I said, an APC 13.7 prop. I've got an Fox RC long plug and some 5% fuel. So with that said, let's fire this engine up and see how she does with this prop. I'm going to try and I'll get it tuned the best I can using this prop, and then we'll migrate to the other two props. Oh yeah, and new Boca hat. I know I primed it. I saw plenty of fuel go in there. Is it possible that my knife starter is dead? Well, everything seems fine there. Let me pull this plug, and this plug was new. I just ran it the other day. Let's check here real quick. Seems to be glowing. It's definitely glowing on that one. Let's see if for some reason if it's over primed. I don't know that it is, but it doesn't appear to be over primed. Under primed? Is that possible? do this again. We got 1, 2.5. It wasn't even firing up though, so I mean, something is amiss there. This is really bizarre. I think I end up saying that an awful lot lately. I have no idea why this isn't firing up. I felt a bump. That's a good thing. Making headway. Okay. Maybe it was over, maybe it was flooded. Something really off with this carb. Maybe there's something really off with this carb, because I haven't done anything with this engine, I don't believe. Could this be one of those issues where the glow plug is going to make a huge difference? I'm going to turn this low speed in a little bit, because it seemed like maybe it was a tad rich there at the end. Let's see if this nice starter will light it up. That's interesting that I'm really having some interesting luck with some of these engines. No throttle stop screw on this either, so I'm just going to set it here and see if it holds an idle. find a setting that it seems like it'll hold. Yeah, so it's either still way too rich or that was too low of an idle for it, or maybe the throttle arm came off, or both. It was like this throttle arm wasn't drilled out. The hole wasn't drilled out. So I don't understand why that would be. It was a used engine. How could you not have that drilled out? I'm going to turn this in just a hair more. Let's see, and there's a lot of oil coming out of this thing. So it's not running lean. That's for sure. Trying to establish like a 3,000 RPM idle here and then see what it does. Okay, I'm not touching it anymore. Let's just watch and see what the idle does here. Slowly dropping. That's an indication that it's rich. But it had good transition, so maybe I've got it set about right now. Maybe it's still just trying to find its good idle speed. So it sounds fine now. You know, just for the heck of it, I'm thinking about just putting an Enya number 3 plug in here and just see. Let it cool for a few minutes and just see if an Enya number 3 plug changes anything at all, and then we'll do a quick run with the 2-bladed again and see if the Enya plug changes anything. I've only got this much fuel, and then we'll go to one of these 3-bladed props. Okay, so this plug changes for that fellow Mike, somebody who just commented on one of my last videos saying he doesn't think there's any difference in plugs and he doesn't care and all that, so I don't care either. That's why I'm changing plugs, Mike, because I do care about plugs and I know a little bit about them. So this is an Enya number 3 plug. It hasn't had a whole lot of time to cool down. Let's see if this makes a difference. I'm not saying it will, but trying to get it right at 3,000 RPM or so. Not touching it. Seems pretty stable here. Now if it still kind of stumbles when I try to go fast, it just means that this carb is just not really wanting to do that. It's starting to drop now. Now I didn't jam the throttle that last acceleration, but I went fairly solidly and it seemed fine. Okay, now it's time to let it cool down for a minute while I've got a little bit of fuel left, and we're going to change props. I've got it running to an acceptable level at this point. Okay, so I decided to try the Evolution 12.4 prop initially. I'm going to richen this up just a hair, and we'll try this prop first and see what happens. I figured it's the lightest load. I still have the same Indian number 3 plug in here. Throttle not going in this hole is starting to suck. Sorry, I gotta pull on it a little bit more gently, I suppose, since I didn't ream it out. I don't really have the means to do it right now. I don't know, what do you think? You think that thing is still rich on the low end? Well, I would say that the low end seems fine just because of the fact that it didn't die on that extended idle. I think this carb just doesn't want to be jammed full throttle very quickly, because if you just do it nice and slow, it seems fine. So I'm going to put this 12.8 on here real quick, and we'll run a little bit more fuel through it using that prop and see what the RPM difference is. It looks like it was peaked up pretty well with that that prop. Okay, 12.8 prop installed, Roffner 3-bladed. Let's see what this one does. think we've seen enough of that engine. Okay, so that was a successful run. It seems like the last few engines I've run, maybe I need to start doing my quickie little runs in the garage first off video and get these little bugs fired up or worked out first. I know I thought I disassembled this engine and went through it, but the carb is weird because it was just way too rich, and I had it only open 2.5 turns. So that was way too rich for this engine to even want to fire up for some reason, and it wasn't flooded, so it was just weird. So let's see where we are right now. We're 3/4 of a turn from fully closed, 3/4 of a turn open from fully closed. That's where it was running optimally. Typically with an engine, anyone, 4-stroke, 2-stroke, I usually always start at least 2 full turns open from fully closed, 2.5, 2.5, and that's usually a very good starting spot. Now, does that tell me? It tells me either there's some kind of something not right with this carb, or maybe that's just the way this engine runs and it's set up. I don't know. The high speed or the low speed needle looks like it's really recessed, so maybe this whole carb is just really out of whack. Maybe I need to really just pull that low speed all the way out and start over and see. Maybe there's an issue with, it's just, maybe the low speed is set such that the high speed needle needs to be turned in. I don't know. All I know is that's interesting. But I mean, the engine ran fairly well, really well. It just is one of these things where I think it's a carb that just doesn't want to be jammed. It's not an OS carb. I'll just always say that. It's not an OS carb. In fact, this carb body was originally set up as an air bleed carb because of this ridge here in the front. I can tell that that's what that was for. So maybe first editions of this engine, maybe that's what makes it an SE and not just a GP. Maybe just a standard original GPs had an air bleed carb because that's what this carb body is telling me. So anyway, 3-blade prop. It's interesting because you can tell the difference in sound between that cheap Evolution with blunt tips, flat tips, and then this Grapner. But I mean, this is not a bad running engine, and it didn't seem to change much at all between the Enya number 3 and the RC Long. If anything, I think what we were seeing as the difference was just the carb was needing to be tuned. So anyway, it didn't seem to, it did seem to prefer one or the other plugs. If it preferred one of the plugs over the other, it would have been this Enya number 3, but that also could have been because I got it more tweaked in using that plug. But anyway, so that's your run for this Magnum GP65 GPSE engine for today. Hope you enjoyed watching.